Hello, hello. So I had been struggling with a pretty important decision, and I finally, after days of ruminating over it, said enough is enough, and I got out my paper and pen, and um, I made my decision. Now, for purposes of this demonstration, um, I pretended that I have a daughter, Susie, needing to go to school next year. And so I'm looking at three particular schools. There are more, but I like to narrow things down to the top three. So I made three circles and I put in the names of the different schools that Susie can go to. Now, what I'm showing you here is what I call visual thinking. And I name this beyond brainstorming. Because you know how when you have a decision you have to make, the same thoughts just keep going around in a circle in your head and you get nowhere. And we all know about pros list and cons list, and then those are great. Um, but unless you make the final decision or pretty much know what the decision's going to be, what good are they? So keep that term in mind, visual thinking. And I'm introducing neurographic art into this, and all that means is neuro is your mind, and art is graphics. And no, you do not have to be an artist. Um, so, why use pen and paper? Because your brain links movement. Your brain understands sight. It knows how to process your emotion when it sees it. Um, You'll see that I'm going to be using curved lines because that calms the mental friction that we feel when these same thoughts keep going round and round in our head. When they're just going round and round, nothing's connecting. It's just a circle. Um, by making new shapes or any shapes, it invites new choices. We're going to break that circle pattern in our head. Um, this whole act is going to bring your stress level right down and introduce creative thinking, which you probably know when you're trying to do something and you keep doing the same old thing and it doesn't work. It's time to try something different. Um, and no, you don't get hung up on the words creative and art. We're not drawing pretty pictures here. We're problem solving. Um, when would you use this? Anytime you have to make a decision, especially a high stakes decision, which is the decision I just made was high stakes. And I'm happy to say that I'm thrilled with the outcome. Um, whether this is in business or in your personal life, whenever you feel stuck or scattered, or do you ever overthink? Durr. Um, when when your thinking is too abstract, you have no clarity. You don't have all your facts. You just keep debating but never deciding. This is where visual thinking will help you. So let's get back to the dilemma of what school Susie is going to go to. Well, is she going to the Montessori school, the public school, or Joe's private school? So here in red, I wrote the first few negatives. Montessori schools look at expensive, and these other things, no carpool, it's based on the lottery. The public school, her BFF doesn't go there. That's going to be a problem. It's not 5-star rated. Joe's private school is the farthest or furthest, which I never know which to say. It's not close to home. It costs a lot, and it cost even more for sports. And then I did the positives or the pros. The Montessori school has a great rating. They have state-of-the-art facilities. The public school is the least expensive. It's the closest to home, and little Susie wants to go there. Joe's private school has uniforms, which would make getting out of the house in the morning pretty easy. They have a great food service, and I know some of the teachers. Well, first thing I have to do is remember, what am I trying to do here? What is my goal? So I'm going to write my goal on the top so I can keep being reminded of it. I choose the school that brings maximum peace and alignment for our family. Now, look at this. Whatever happened to that simple graphic, huh? I'm going to introduce neurographic art. And how I'm going to introduce this is I'm going to take my pen and I'm going to draw a line. And I'm going to curve that line. And I'm going to see where my pen takes the line. Maybe I'll draw two curvy lines. And I'm going to let them intersect with each other. Do you see? And then where the lines intersect, here's a clear intersection. See that? I'm going to soften that sharp intersection just by, drawing a little dot or curves, more graceful curves, because we're trying to lessen the conflict in our head. And don't poo-poo this. This is what neuroscientist is. Neurographic art is backed by neuroscientists, neurosurgeons, the late Dr. Jim Doty, for one. He was all in his 50-year career with neurographic art. As I'm drawing these curvy lines, I'm picking up things. I'm making little notes. Things are coming to mind. I wrote over here, well, uniforms are easier. So that's why that went in the con list. And then over here, where it says additional fees for sports, I made a comment, well, Susie doesn't do sports. And then that reminded me that Susie is really into art and music. So I added Susie does like art and music, and that's included. And then over here, I got to decide, well, maybe Susie will want to go here because her BFF Amy goes here. And then that reminded me that, oh, Amy's mother would be there. I wrote that down here as I got more into it. Amy's mom can help in an emergency. And I just kept going with it. I just kept filling in like little circles and shapes. And by the very end, if you just look at this, it's clear what the decision should be. I wrote over here, can we afford this? Joe's private school. Fred says yes. So it's looking much better that Susie's going to be going to Joe's private school. And when I did this with my actual decision making, this was so crystal clear that at the end of this exercise, I put my decision in stone, and it hasn't been in my head since then. And I cannot tell you what a relief that has been after days and days of going around in my head in circles. Let me give you some tips for creative thinking. As you're playing with this, pick up different colors, colors that pick up pens that feel good to you. If you, over here, I was saying like, ugh, so I chose a brown pen and a thick line. Over here, light little pink circles, little pink hearts. You can tell I thought this was pretty vanilla because there's not much of anything going on. The one pro for the public school was I could drop Susie off on my way to work, but other tips for creative thinking: pick up your pen in another hand. Did you ever try doing that? It's really fun. Before you go to bed tonight, pick up your toothbrush with your other hand to brush your teeth. It feels like a foreign thing. It's that's creative. We're trying to break the patterns of our old thinking and get stuff done, right? You could stand for a while you're doing this. You can listen to music. You can set a timer. You can go over thoughts, make them bolder. Things not to do: don't use straight lines. We're going to break that pattern of drawing regular old straight lines. Curvy lines, they signal to us. They signal to us the softness. Another thing, don't disregard the softening of the intersections, and don't be tidy, be messy. I know we don't like to be messy. Hey, listen, my real thing is I'm a lifelong artist, and it used to hurt my head looking at this kind of a thing. So don't think of this as art. Think of this as homework. Think of it as, here I am and I need to get over here, and this is my vehicle for doing so. And think of it like your car, and your car, if it's like mine, is messy. Don't be so eager to fill it in. Let it just let it come to you. Don't force it. It kind of stops the flow. And if you have any doubt, which I'm sure you do, listen, I'm a cynic. When I was first introduced to neurographic art, first thing I did was a deep dive into neurographic art because I thought, are these people insane? Solve my problems by drawing curvy lines? I don't think so. But the more I read about it, this is amazing. I'm Marge, and I founded MindSketch Lab because I'm going to keep talking about this until people start throwing rocks at me. Try it. It's the only way you'll know if it works for you. And if I can help you, drop me a line at hello@mindsketchlab.com. Bye for now.